Good evening, bandits. Beautiful day. Did you catch this short? We did. Let's talk about it. What up, guys? Gator here. Beautiful day today. Beautiful short out of the gate, out of the open. Sorry for the delay in some posting. I have been sick, and I've had kids that are sick for about a week and a half, and then some family came in, so very, very rough couple of days. I appreciate you guys hanging in there. Finally back to posting today, and hope to get back in the swing of things. Let's adjust this really quick. All right, context today. For those of you who don't know, every morning I post a list that I'm looking at, and we make some comments on it, and then I do a Zoom call right after that where we take a look at what we're doing, and we decide what we're going to do. Well, yesterday, just for the context, I'm sure everybody who trades knows this, yesterday we had a nice gap and go in NVDA. You had this nice pullback, we talked about this last week, and then a beautiful a beautiful gap and go almost at the 167, opened up at all-time highs. Yesterday, we were cautious going into the day to see if we were going to hold. We did hold up and we went. Well, the chances of that happening and you running into resistance are very slim. So this is why context is so important when you're a trader. So when you're looking at something like this and the market is this extended and this ran up, what were we looking at as soon as the market opened? Fading the move. Basically just looking for a sell setup right out the gate. And if we go ahead and take a look at our notes, the first two names are Tesla and NVDA. Those are really the only ones I really care to trade. I did put my thoughts out about other names, but we didn't do much with it. So let's look at Tesla first, and then we'll come to NVIDIA. All right. Tesla, overhead resistance at 242. If we can get over that, it'll be looking for if we cannot get over that, I'll be looking for a fade using fib targets. The first target is pre-market lows. If we hold up at the open and push, I'll be looking for 245 and 250. So when I say fib levels, you guys who have watched the stuff, you know what that means. If you don't, I've got some videos on it. But basically just looking at the opening print to the fib, basically looking at this right here. Let's jump back. So basically using a fib from the opening print or the top of the first candle and the close from yesterday. So the first target being 36, although I said 35, I didn't sell at 36 at all. But this trade worked beautifully. I called out the entry, didn't get shaken out on this pops. This stop was above high a day. It was always going to be above high a day. I bought in pretty early in common, shorted it, and we ended up, catching a beautiful move all the way down to 35. That was my first target because that was a 50% retracement. That's always the first target on these. I don't remember, and then I was messing with NVIDIA after that. So came right into the 8 and then bounced and then rolled over, came up again, and we actually ended up fading all the way down into the range on the downside. So whenever I say fib targets, I'm looking for the 61% just because of how you draw it, but 20 or 32% retracement, 50% retracement, 60% retracement, respectively. 50 is always a sell-all target for me. Wait for a bounce, look for another opportunity to short, but we sold at 35. So from the open, that was about a 4-point play to the downside. Beautiful move in that. Scalped it a couple other times. You had a clear bearish channel setting up here as we kind of were going. You can kind of just to draw it out for those of you who are doing it. So when you start seeing stuff like this happen, not perfect, but when you start seeing stuff like this draw, you could do something like this, draw something like this, and then you really just look for pops that come in lower. So for me, whenever I see something like this and I'm expecting the market to come in, what do you have here? You have a lower high. So I do this, and then you wait for it to come up. Once you start accelerating again to the downside and you trigger short, you can always look for it to come in and tag the bottom. And obviously it did that, bounced up, and then the rest of our day, I was gone by then, but there was no bounce. We just then consolidated and flagged out. So it looks interesting going into tomorrow. But Tesla, beautiful out of the open short, and then did great. That was called live. I took this one before I took NVDA, and then NVDA opened up at all-time highs, overhead resistance. Let's take a look at Tesla really quick, why we thought it was going to go down. I mean, you look at where it's at. I said 42. You're way up here where we've had the last 2 times we've been up here, we failed. 1, 2, and this was also the top, the start of this. So you, if you look, you broke down. So we had a rising wedge. We broke down, double topped, and failed there twice. So the next time we come up to it, you can, I mean, you should be looking at a short when you come up here. So we, got that one beautifully, came into support, and then consolidated. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But that's why I liked that short, and that's why I took that short right out of the gate. Next play is NVIDIA. For the sake of accountability, NVIDIA all-time high in the pre-market. LOL. Like I said yesterday, just hold to all-time high in 500. Of course, just joking. Going to watch for any setups to get me in early. Had hard to just market in with size, so I need to wait for a good setup. I wouldn't mind waiting for a little pullback into the low 470s and take it long. So this was the market context kind of off of yesterday. If we would have sat up and held near all-time highs, I would have taken it long at the open. I didn't talk about the fade in this one in my notes. I did talk about it in Zoom, and then we talked about it live once we got going. So the notes were basically this, I was looking for a fade into 470. Is where the low 470s is what I wanted, and then I wanted to take it long. I actually did, bought it long down here off the 21, and then didn't sell any, got stopped out and went short, and that was all called live. But at the open, beautiful setup. You're opening up at all-time highs. The whole market's gapped up, so you're looking for names to come in. CT, my man, called this one out live. He got in it before I did. I think he got in it like I got in Tesla pretty much right away. I'm pretty sure he got in NVIDIA short right away. I waited, and I actually took this 2-minute breakdown. So I got in it here right before he broke down at about 477.80 was my entry. Frank ran this breakdown, and I ended up selling at 470.70. So it took that thing all the way down. It was about almost a 7-point play, all the way down to 470.70. So 7 points in 15 minutes? It was absolutely incredible. Just short right out the gate. When you know what levels you're looking for and you have a high probability of what's going to happen, you're opening up at all-time highs, the market's coming in, we take it short and we just let it ride. So we let that ride. I then went long and held through all of this. I should have taken some profits. So it was about 3 points up. So it would have paid to take profits, but my plan was look for an entry and then hold. I would have sold on a little bit more of a pop and then held. Hindsight 2020 doesn't really matter. It was kind of clear at this point, once we reversed here, that the whole market was coming in. So, and I said somewhere around one of these candles, I'm still in. If we roll over and lose the 21, I'm going to short it. And it dropped here. I said I'm still in, and then we lost the 21, and then CT said he was already in it. Then I said that I'm shorting it, and he played that one I think better than I did. He had the right idea with the 3 legs down, but he shorted it. We came all the way in. He sold down here. I sold down here, and we ended up catching almost. I mean, if you count from the original sell, buy in at 77. I sold at 70 and then got back in a little bit above that. That's 70 and sold around 62. Another 8 points, 7 points, so 14 points in 30 minutes. Depending on the size that you take, that's a really good day. So NVIDIA came back up, rolled over again, came in lower a little bit later, and then we just consolidated here. So beautiful, beautiful day in NVIDIA, beautiful short. We caught it. We knew what we were looking for. Called it out live, and that was the day. So when you have a plan going into the day, you know what you're looking for. You know what the probability is. You just pick your best names. You take your entries, and you put your stops where they need to be. And when you talk about letting your winners run on a day like this, when this triggers, it's not hard to let your winners run, and then you take profits where your pre-market level or where your trade plan told you to. Mine was at 270. And then in In Tesla, it was 35 because that was a 50% retracement, and that's where I expected a bounce. I expected more of a bounce here in NVIDIA. Didn't happen. That's fine. And this goes to show, just really quick before we cut this, what's important about this is learning to change your plan. Because the idea was, hey, I'm going to go long, and then if we consolidate and hold, NVIDIA's been strong, let's see if buyers come in. It was obvious buyers were not coming in. It was obvious the whole market was coming in. So at that point, there's nothing wrong with when the market is telling you something else to change your plan. Change your plan, because you need to follow what's in front of your face, what you're looking at, not what you thought earlier. If the charts are telling you something different, you have to be willing to change what you're looking at. So thankfully, I was able to do that today, and it ended up being a pretty good day. Had a few other scalps, but that was, I mean, at that point, my day was done. I've got family in town, so I called it, and I know CT called it. Rose was in, she called it too. So it was pretty good day overall. Pretty good Tuesday. Yesterday was pretty decent at the open too. Didn't do as much because I wasn't as confident in the move yesterday as I was today. Today, with the amount that we had gone up, it was not 100% that you were going to come in, but I was shorting at the open pretty much no matter what. So if you want to go look in Discord, you can look at the other names and ask why I liked them or what I thought about them. Doesn't really matter. I didn't play any of them. Talked about Netflix on a higher pivot low, which actually came in beautifully. I think I said around 4. Watch for it to hold up and push higher into the day. I said 412. You should get to 412 today. We got a little bit above that. We actually did that at the open. Popped beautifully. Microsoft was another one I had on my watch list. I said fade it. Look for a fade in Microsoft. You had this overhead. I said 2618, I believe. Microsoft 2618. Yep. Either look for a wedge and a break higher, or short it and fade back into the close. Short it and fade it. That's a 5-6 point move if you played Microsoft. And AMD was the other one. I said I'd like to pull it into 107, put in a bottom, and then bounce for a higher move. It pulled in, but there was no bounce, and that was kind of clear. So if this would be the one that we pulled into 07. So I liked this short, but I was in too many other things to take it. It eats up your buying power when you're trading a lot in Tesla and NVIDIA at the same time. But was looking at this, if it did hold 7, was my target for my first short in Microsoft. So shorted at the open for 2 points. And then if it bounced, this would have been the same as NVIDIA. You get a bounce here, we come back up. Instead, you just sold off and did the same as the rest of the market did. So those were the plays today. This was a change the plan. If you traded it, I didn't trade it. So I stuck with NVIDIA and Tesla. So NVIDIA, Tesla, both beautiful today. Both traded really well, and then the market got a little bit slower, a little bit more technical. You're in just a downward channel. We broke, consolidated sideways. I think we get a very choppy day tomorrow. I don't expect continuation, but I could be wrong. We'll see. I'm going to trade what the chart says. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let me know if you have any questions, what you thought about the calls. If you were live in the room, let me know that you watched it, and what you thought about my call outs and CT's call outs and all that. So I appreciate the support, guys. If you watch this long, leave a like, share, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff, so I can keep making this content. Cheers, bandits. I will see you all tomorrow at Market Open.